Why is it that every time you decide that you want to get your hair layered, in your mind, you think it's going to look like this, but then it ends up looking like this? And you think, oh, well, hold on a second. Maybe my hair is just too long and it can't handle layers. So you think, well, saw this photo. I love it. I'm going to do this. And then when you get it done, it looks like this. I'm Justin Hickox, and I've spent over 30 years as a professional stylist, and I've learned that the number one thing that causes women to hate their layers aren't actually the layers. It's that unfortunately they were never taught how to speak to a stylist in a way that gets them the layers they actually want. So let me tell you what you should and what you should not say to a stylist to get the layers that actually work for you. And what I want you to understand is that layers are just the tool. And like any tool, if you hand it to someone and you don't explain what you're trying to build, you're likely going to end up with something that you never asked for. Now, let me back this up a second because I completely understand that realistically, it should not be your burden to describe or explain what you're trying to do to the stylist. This is going to help you understand how you can speak to them in a way that's going to avoid the potential concerns and be much more apt to get you what you're actually looking for. So let's talk about how to fix it. And I want to start with something that's going to sound so easy that it almost sounds too easy, but just follow me here. I don't want you to use the word layers, meaning when you sit down and say, I want layers, your stylist is definitely going to hear something, but what they hear and what you mean are going to probably be very different things. And there's one thing that's very specific about layers that almost nobody talks about. And I think it's the single most important thing to understand, especially if you've got fine or thin hair. Now, I'm going to get to that in just a second, but first, I told all my clients this. It's that length dictates layering. Okay, so the longer your hair is, the longer the layers on top have to be to balance with that length. This is not a preference, okay? This is the way hair works. So we want to focus on getting them balanced. So now that we know that the layers on top have to be a certain length to balance, here's what actually happens when a stylist cuts those layers on top too short. First thing is it's going to start looking like a mullet real fast. I mean, hey, maybe you're into mullets, and if you are, then that's your jam. Cool, rock with it. But the second thing, and this is the one that really kind of hurts, especially fine hair, the layers become too short to create actual bend. They can't create bend, they can't create volume. And that's likely the one thing you're trying to get, or one of the main things you're trying to get with layers. So here's a simple way to gauge at home how short something needs to be. And follow me here. I'm letting you in on a little industry secret here, so I'll use this pencil to show you. You're gonna take a hair directly from your occipital bone in the back. So that's this bone right here. You're just gonna grab a little section, like a little section probably the size of my pinky, and you're gonna pick it straight up from your head. So you're not gonna pull it out, you're not gonna pull it down, you're just gonna lift it straight towards the ceiling, okay? That length is going to be the length that the layers on top need to be the same length as or longer than that. Now, here's how you're going to explain to your stylist in a way that's going to make them understand how to make sure that that's what you end up with. What you're going to do is you're going to take this hair from the back, you're going to pick it up, and you're going to grab a little piece of hair about the same size from the very top of your head, okay? So right about in here. You're going to pick that up. And then you're just going to match the two lengths. So you're going to say, okay, it can't go shorter than this. So I'm going to grab this hair right here, and I'm going to go, okay, it's that long. Then you're going to let the hair in the back drop out of your hand. So you're just gonna have this one hair that's marked by length with your fingers. You're holding it at the right length. And you're just gonna let that just sit down, like naturally just sit down. And you're gonna gauge, you're gonna see where that sits. So maybe that's right here, for instance. And you're gonna go, okay, now when you go into the salon, you know that your layers on top should not be any shorter than this. So you're just gonna explain that to your stylist. But you're gonna explain it in a way that's not gonna be confrontational. So you're gonna say is, hey, I love the idea of layers. In the past, when my layers at this length get shorter than this, whatever that marked length was, I feel like they get too short. I prefer them to be this long or longer on top. So is there a way of doing what we want to do today and still making sure that these layers on top are not shorter than right about in here? Would that be a possibility? It's going to be a very easy gauge and an easy way for you to explain how long these need to be so that you can make sure they balance. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Now, one of the next biggest concerns with layering is how it can make the bottom of your hair look way too thin, especially if your hair is already on the thinner side. Now, an easy way to see how thin your hair will get at the bottom is doing this. So what you're going to do is you're going to part your hair from the recession line, which is this big thing that's almost in the back of my head now, all the way back to there, basically where men go bald. You're going to take all that hair and you're going to put it up in a ponytail. You're going to pull it out of your way. Then you're going to draw a line from the top of your head, back of your ear, the top of your ear right here. and all of that hair in front of this, all of that can go up as well, okay? Grab a mirror, stand in front of a mirror, and then look at your hair. If the bottom of your hair in the back still looks dense, then your hair, even with layering done correctly for you, is not going to look any thinner than it does right then. You're basically taking all of the hair that would be layered and you're getting it out of the way to see how thick does this bottom part look. If it already looks thick and hey, this is more than thick enough, I'm good, then you're golden. Now, if you look at the back and you think, you know what, this could be a little bit too thin at the very bottom, there's gonna be a point at the bottom where it looks dense and then it starts to thin out. If you are okay or comfortable with taking that length up to where it looks dense, and then you go, oh, well, I can bring the length up there, I'm good with that. And if I do that, it's gonna be thick enough for me, I'm fine. You're comfortable going that length? Cool, then you can just do that. That's a good way to gauge at home whether or not you're gonna be too thin with layering in general. Now, after you determine if this is too thin for you, you can actually pull your hair up like this in the chair. Say something like, look, I just want to be sure that the hair isn't layered at all down here, okay? I've had that happen in the past, and it just honestly looks a little bit too thin. Is it possible to layer all of this and not layer this stuff back here? That's the key phrase right there. If they say no, I'd honestly just tell you, don't have them layer it at all. Because it's clear that they don't know how to layer hair like that, because I can absolutely say that I have literally personally done this thousands of times on tens of thousands of different clients. This is how I layer hair, so I know it can be done. Now, the reason that I'm not specifically talking about hair right in front of the ears is because that's technically the layering in the front layers, the face framing layers. That's where that comes from. And we're gonna talk about that in just a second. We'll get to that. Now, I know, again, you're probably thinking that you don't want to offend your stylist, because I hear that a lot. And it makes sense. And as a stylist, I respect that, right? But I just got to tell you that you're not going to. Well, you could, but it's all in how you say it. So let me tell you how to say it so that you don't offend them. If you just say, hey, in the past, this or that makes my hair feel too thin, are we able to avoid that concern? At that point, you're simply just stating the concern, and then you're asking for their professional input. See, that's not you dictating what needs to be done. That's you asking to collaborate and then offering up some insight about your hair. If your stylist gets offended by that, I'm sorry to say that you're probably not with the right stylist. So yeah, I don't like saying it, but there's that. Okay, point number 2, and I have said this so many times, bring photos. I need you to take in photos. Photos of what you love. Bring photos. Photos of what you absolutely hate. Bring photos. I cannot tell you how many consultations completely change the moment a client shows me something they actually don't want. Bring photos. Now, here's the mindset kind of shift that I want you to make before you actually go to the salon. You got to understand that that photo is not a contract, okay? It's just a conversation starter. Obviously, the person that's in that photo likely has different hair, okay? They have different density, a different texture, different face shape, right? All the things. But that's not a reason to not bring that photo in. It's simply a reality check that you need to know before bringing it in. Now, your stylist's job is to sit with you, look at the photos together, and ask, what do you love about this? What do you hate about that? And how do we take what you love and what you hate and make something that actually works for your hair? That is a collaboration. And if your stylist does not welcome that, or they get dismissive or they get annoyed, legit, pull out your phone, find another stylist. There's a few things that piss me off actually more than that. Dude, this should be about you, not about us. Right? But with that, you also need to understand that those photos are likely different textures, and there's going to be a bit of compromise to get what you like out of those photos and make it work for your hair. Okay, I said that we're going to talk about those front layers. Yeah, let's talk about them. Here's one that causes a ton of problems in the salon. A client sits down and says, I just want it a little bit shorter around the face. Now, what they mean is they want softness. They want movement. Okay, they want maybe a little bit of lift to accentuate more cheekbone structure. But what the stylist very easily can hear is, I want short face framing layers. Maybe I want disconnected layers. I want heavy curtain bangs. I want a shag. All of those things could technically be created from shorter front layers. The problem is that's not even close to what you want, right? We're not even in the same ballpark. So here's the framework that I want you to use instead for this. The length of face framing layers should basically start wherever you want to see fullness or movement added. They should not just automatically start at the chin or just become a heavy bang just because that's a thing. So instead of saying shorter around the face, try this. Try saying, I want to accentuate my cheekbones. How short would the front layers layers need to be to start actually creating that kind of shape? This one question will completely change the entire consultation. See, now your stylist has something real that they're trying to work towards, right? Because they know where you're heading, you're gonna be far less likely to walk out with something that you never asked for. Maybe think about it like this, okay? Asking for face framing layers is like asking a taxi driver to drive north on Interstate 5, right? They know the direction that you want to head, but that's it. Saying I want to accentuate my cheekbones, how short would the layers need to go to actually start creating that shape? That's going to give that taxi driver an address to go to. See, now they don't only know the direction you want to go, more importantly, they understand the destination that you're trying to get to. So if you want lift and volume around your cheekbones, the layers in that area actually need to start a little bit shorter. And then they need to connect into the longer layers that blend down to your base length. That's what actually creates the shape. That's what lifts the face and opens the face and accentuates more of that cheekbone structure. Did that make sense? It made sense to me, but I'm the one saying it. All right. I want you to stop asking for texture, okay? I want to come back to something that I talked about earlier. There's a whole list of words that clients use constantly that are honestly causing disasters because there are so many different meanings for them between so many different stylists. One of the biggest ones, you guessed it, texture. Okay, I know why you ask for it. It makes perfect sense. And if you've ever seen one of my videos, you've probably heard me say how important movement is to looking more youthful. It's like the number one thing I say. You want to look more youthful? Just get more movement. This guy, dude, it's just a bunch of this. It's ridiculous. But here's what actually happens when a stylist aggressively texturizes hair, especially thin or fine hair. It removes density. It creates these kind of scraggly looking ends, right? And your hair ends up looking thinner than when you actually walked in. The distinction here, and I want you to remember this, layers create shape. Texturizing removes bulk or blends ends so they don't look choppy. Those are two entirely different things with entirely different outcomes. Now, yes, texturizing can create movement, but texturizing aggressively enough to really get a similar amount of movement that you can actually get out of layering on, especially on fine hair, that's really only appropriate for shorter styles. Think like chin length and above. And realistically, kind of more above the chin length. On longer, especially thin or fine hair, aggressive texturizing is almost always gonna work against you. So if you're in the chair and your stylist is going to town on your ends with texturizing shears to create movement on your long, fine hair, that's a red flag. So to avoid them getting done too much, first, I want you to stop saying movement, airy, feathered, piecey, texture, and any other word that you've heard online or from any other stylist that refers to texturizing or thinning or anything like that. Instead, what you're gonna do is you're going to describe the result that you want, not the technique they should use to achieve it. This is where the photos that we spoke about before really kind of come into play. And this is why I constantly talk about them. You can use those words to describe what you want as long as you're using them to describe what you're seeing in the photos that you like, because then you have a visual representation of what you're saying. But without that photo, your stylist has to guess what you mean, and that's where things go wrong. So use the photos, describe what you're saying, and allow them to understand those words, that what you mean by them, based on that photo that you're showing them. So I've told you a lot of what not to do. Let me give you a little something better than that. If you're nervous about layers making your hair look too thin, that's a totally valid concern. What I'd tell you to do is just start with front layers. Ask for layers basically from the ear forward. That's it. Nothing behind the ears. This gives you movement and softness around the face without touching the density in the back and over the sides. It's kind of the most conservative way, dipping your toe in the pool of layers. That sounds stupid, but you get the point, right? Right. Now, one thing to watch is to make sure that those front layers don't get taken too far back behind the ears. When that happens, you end up with this kind of V shape in the back. And especially on fine hair, that V looks thin and absolutely disconnected very quickly. So think, if your hair is like bra strap length or longer in the back, I just wouldn't cut it into a V. I would do it a much more straight across. It's going to create a lot more of a full look. It's going to make your hair look more dense, and it's going to give the layers better foundation so that they look better and grow out better. Now, here's an easy way to explain that to your stylist. This is a way that I explain it to clients, and it makes it so much easier. So follow me here. You're going to take the hair that's directly behind the ear, like a pinky width back. So the hair that sits right behind the ear, you're going to pull that down, okay? Then you're going to take everything else in the back behind that. You're going to move it out of the way. You're gonna put it in a ponytail. Just gonna have one little section of hair, again, about the size of my thumb, for instance. It's just hanging down here. That's your length, okay? Meaning that that's the length of the hair in the back, basically. Once you get the length to the length that you want it, this does not get touched. Okay, it stays exactly that length. That does not get cut. This is gonna be important in a second, so follow me here. All you're doing is you're gonna comb all of this stuff straight down in the front. So everything in the front, you're gonna part it where you normally would. You're gonna comb it straight down, okay? Not back, not forward, just straight down like it would naturally fall. And then all you're doing is you've got that one length right here. That's your length from behind the ears. And you're gonna go, where do I want those front layers to start? Let's say I wanted to start right at the chin. And all we're doing is drawing a line from that longest point, not being cut, up to the chin or the lip or whatever you decided for how short that would go. All the hair that sits in front of that, that's what gets cut off. That's what gets layered. But here's where this is really important. This is where this all kind of comes together. What's gonna keep us from getting that V shape in the back or making it look like a mullet or making it look so disconnected because the front is just too short and it doesn't really make sense is not cutting this length. So if all we do is determine that length and then we're just moving this up and down depending on how short we want to go. Hey, I want those layers to start right here. Right there, that's come on. Oh, I want them to go a little bit shorter. Okay, now they're in here. Oh, I want it to go a little bit shorter. Okay, now they're up here. See how this doesn't move? That is how we ensure that that doesn't get overlayered, doesn't get layered too far back and start to look like it's that real strong V shape in them. Now, how do you explain that to your stylist to ensure that you don't get that done? You literally grab the hair from right back here and you go, I like this length. I want layers in the front, but I don't want this length to go any shorter than it is now. Can we layer this and not cut this length or just connect all of these layers to that? Use this kind of maybe as a guide for the length. That's the way we would say it at the salon. You're just gonna pretend like you don't know that? Can we use it kind of as a guide? If they don't cut that any shorter, you're gonna be golden. I hope that made sense. I know I said I was gonna get technical, okay? I'm getting technical. So I warned you, now you know why. All right. Now, if you have bangs, this next part is really important. In most cases, bangs and front layers need to be connected, meaning that you shouldn't have bangs and then nothing and the layers that start down here, for instance. I see this go kind of wrong constantly. Someone gets bangs, and then what happens is that it ends up looking heavy right in this section. It looks very square because now you've got this dense section of hair that sits basically right below the bangs that just has nowhere to go. Yes, you tuck it back, but if it falls forward, it doesn't make any sense. So if you don't have to have every single hair tucked behind your ear, and most people don't, connect those front layers. Start the layers at the longest part of your bang and then connect them down into the length. It's gonna create a better shape. It's gonna remove the bulk and the heaviness in this area, which is usually what we wanna do. And the bonus is that when your bangs grow out, they're gonna grow out more like a, kind of like a layer, and if that makes sense, not just like a heavy blunt bang that grows out and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. Okay, now you know more about how to ask for layers than pretty much anybody else. So my hope. I gave you so much information there. But let's just recap very quickly. First of all, you're gonna walk in with photos. You're gonna walk in with photos that you like and photos that you don't like. You're gonna explain all of the things necessary to make sure that they don't overlay your hair. One, this top layer, I don't want that top layer any shorter than this. Now we wanna make sure that we don't get the sides too layered. See all this hair just back here? I wanna make sure that that doesn't get layered. Last thing, to make sure that this isn't cut too far back if your hair is longer. See this hair right here, this length? Are we able to make sure that we don't cut that any shorter? I wanna make sure that when that gets cut with the front layers, that we can just connect whatever length we do the front layers into, whatever you think is best. And then we just don't touch this. We just connect it, use this as kind of maybe the guide. All of that was a lot of information. I appreciate you hanging out. If you got any value from this, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. You can unsubscribe at any time. You really want to do something big, watch this next video. It's going to be right there. Watch right there. Yeah. I appreciate you hanging out. I'll see you over there. Take care now.